Hello there, welcome back to Tiny Zoo. Thank you very much for watching today, joining me in the zoo. And here we are back with our Arctic wolves. He's having a bit of dinner. Looks very appetizing, doesn't it? So this was our last episode. We were putting in the wolves and their enclosure is all finished over here. So now it is time to move on. And we're going back over this side of the zoo, past the bears and past the anteaters, and we are going to be building today in this area just over here. As you can see, I have already got started, so I'll put some decking down here, and I also wanted to connect this area with the flamingo pond over here. So what I've done is put in this fake path. So obviously again there's no real pathway here, so the guests wouldn't be able to use it, but obviously it looks good, it looks like a pathway. So this is just very simple, just wooden planks, copied and pasted and turned around the corner, and then obviously put steps in here, and then I've just landscaped underneath it to make it look like it all fits together. And then I've just put a larger area here, so that when you're walking and you get to here, you've got a choice. You can either go that way or this way. And then I'll be decorating all around here with some shrubbery to link these two areas together. So what animal are we doing today? We are going to be doing camels today. I've not done camels before in any of my zoos. It's one of those animals that I never got around to doing, and I quite fancied it, and I thought, I know they're quite a large animal, but I think I can get away with doing them in this zoo. I can keep the enclosure relatively small. I think I'll probably only be having maybe 4 camels in the enclosure. So that is the plan. So it's going to go into this area here. Some kind of a building, I think probably at the back here, and then a pretty basic enclosure. They don't need a lot, they just need flat land to walk around on. They certainly won't need any real terrain work. So yeah, it'll be a fairly simple enclosure, so I'll have to try and decorate it nicely to keep it interesting, and I've got a few ideas for that. So there we go, so that is the plan. I will go away now and get building, and then and as usual, I will update you as I go along. Okay, so we have our basic shape now. So as you can see, I put the building in at the back here. I put an overhang on the roof because I wanted them to have an under shelter area at the front here. Obviously with a concrete floor. Again, this is where the keepers would be able to take the animals and wash them down, or you know, I don't know. It's just what you see. It's what you see. Whenever you have a large building like this, there's always an area of concrete out the front, and then obviously sand covering the rest of this. That is a nice natural flooring for them. The building itself is quite large. It'll probably just have a load of bedding inside. There's really not a lot that they need, but obviously they're quite large animals, so they do need a decent sized building. I probably could have made it a bit smaller, but I kind of like the industrial kind of look of this. Obviously I've coloured this a nice sort of sandy colour, so it sort of suits the location, I guess, or the theme, I should say. And this door I've made with 2 separate wall pieces here, and then these are just girders sunk into the floor and then raised up here to make it look like a sliding system. Like the doors can actually open and close. So it's pretty simple. I think it looks pretty cool. Certainly looks like doors to me. And then out here I've just created a small railing here. These are just simple metal beam pieces all put together, and I think red is a decent colour for this sort of thing. Because camels, you know, they are pretty friendly creatures on the whole, so there's no harming in the guests getting quite close to them, and they don't really leap over stuff, so this is hopefully going to be tall enough to keep the camels in. And the entrance will be in here. The actual habitat entrance gate will be here. yeah, so there we go. That's where we're up to. So that's our basic shape. So it is pretty simple, the layout. Size wise, I'm okay with that. I think it suits what I've done. It's about the same size as the penguin enclosure and the otters, and in fact it's smaller than the Arctic wolves. So size wise, I'm okay with what I've done. So what I will do is try to enclose it. It's quite a large area here, which I'm not too keen on, but I've got a bit of an idea of what I might be doing around this area here. So I'm going to go away now and play around with that, and hopefully next time I come back that will be done and it will look really cool. And here we are. I have done some crazy umbrellas as you can see. So my thinking here was that the camels would want some shade. Obviously in the wild, the camels spend a lot of their time in deserts. Here are our camels, our little family. We've got one male and then 3 females. Don't they look cool? I love the detail. They look fantastic. But yeah, in the wild, they obviously spend a lot of time in very hot conditions, and so they like a bit of shade. So that was my theory here, is that I wanted to create a nice shade for them. So I created this one here. It was pretty simple. This is just simple beams of wood with some of the thatch, one of the thatch tiles at the end, and then I've just duplicated it into a circle. And I think it looks pretty cool actually. I think it works out very nicely. Even though it's a square beam, it creates a sort of a round beam in the middle here, which is kind of nice. And then I thought, well, I've got this other area all over here, so why not just copy the umbrella and raise it up? So I did a higher one there and then another low one here, so you've got one for the guests to use as well. And I absolutely love it. I think that looks really nice. And so then I came up with the idea of doing some seating down under here. So obviously I had to put one of them around this post because I thought that looked nice, and then I put some more down and I thought, well, they need something, don't they? They need something in the middle of their tables, and so I did these palms. So this is a large palm and then a small palm underneath, and again it's just copied and pasted and put into each of the tables, and I think it looks really nice actually. I like this this foliage. I think it's a wonderful looking plant. Not very particularly practical to actually eat with these leaves hanging over your head, but I kind of like it. I think it works okay, so I'm going with it. I think from an aerial view, I think that looks really nice actually. I just love the shape of this. I think it just looks really nice. And obviously I'll put a few trees in as well. So these are, what are these ones? Desert bloodwood trees. It's something a bit different. Obviously desert environment I wanted, so I kind of like them. So it's a large one and a small one there, and then this one here is actually 3 trees in one because I wanted it to look a bit different, and it does. So that's a simple technique that I've used for that. And then I've gone with one of my favourite umbrella trees over in this corner. So that's where we're up to now. As you can see, obviously the camels are in. I've decided I didn't want to give them a terrain pool of water, so I've gone with one of these large flat ones, and I've put one of these posts in the side here just to make it look like they top this up straight from the mains. I thought that looked pretty nice. And then I put some hay under here so that the camels can come and rest in the shade, and they do. So that's nice. Obviously the barrier is in, so this is the barrier entrance here with a little bit of concrete wall on it. So yeah, we're making good progress. I'm very happy actually with how that is looking so far. I just love the shapes here of these circles from right up here. I mean, it just looks cool, doesn't it? I really like that. So obviously I've still got this area along here to decorate. And I've still got obviously more work to do in the habitat, so I will be putting a few shrubs in, and I will do some enrichment as well. Not much going to happen with the building, to be honest. It really is just like a cattle shed. It's just a shed for them to sleep in, so I will try and put some bedding in here. I've got a bit of an idea actually with this bit here. What I might do is make this a viewing window in the end here, so we'll have to see about that. and I'm not too sure about the rest of the building. It is a little plain. Obviously I need to put some beams or something supporting this overhang at the front, but I'm not sure what else I'm going to do. I will see where my inspiration takes me. So let's not delay, let's crack on. So I will go away and do a bit more and be back in a minute. Right, so I've done some decorating in the enclosure now. I've put some enrichment items in, as you can see. So they've got a nice feeder at the front here. They've got one of these other feeders over here, the barrel feeders I think that's called. They've got one of the little toys there that they can pick up in their mouths and carry around. They've got an ice block here and a scratching post here. I think there's possibly something, yes, they've got a scent bowl and another food ball. What's that? A grazing ball feeder they've got in their bed, and I managed to get some bedding in here. Oh, and as you can see, I have done some work with this building. Oh, I kind of spoiled that. I was going to show you that from the outside. So, what have I done? As you can see, I've changed the roof a bit. I wanted to put some skylights in here. The roof was just, well, let's go outside and you'll see. The roof just looked a bit plain, a bit boring, and a bit, I was thinking it was just a bit dark inside for them. I didn't want to put lights in there, so I thought this made sense, just putting some glass panels in there. It's such a simple thing, but I think it makes a real difference. And obviously from inside it would just allow some daylight to come through. I know it's their bed, but obviously at night that's not going to be an issue because it's just going to be possibly a little bit of moonlight. So yeah, I really like that. It's actually something that I've never done before, but actually I might do this sort of thing more because I do think it looks good and it is really realistic as well, and it just adds a bit of variety to the roofs. So that's cool. I put some aircon units here, and then obviously a couple inside, just to you know, give that suggestion that they're just keeping the air clean, because obviously a place like this, it's going to get a bit smelly in here probably. So that's what that's for. And then I did go ahead with my idea here of a viewing window. So I will show you this from the outside because there's more to it than what you can see from the inside. So as you walk along here, this is what you see. So it's not too much, it's not particularly fancy, but I kind of like it. So I put these monitors along here. So obviously you've got your 3 displaying something about the camels. These ones are actually advertising sort of random environmental issues and that, but you know, it's more for the look than anything else. And those are just framed with some simple wooden beams. And I did a sort of a little hanging canopy. I wanted something that matched the theme of sort of camels and deserts. And so I found these rug pieces here, which I thought worked quite nicely, just suspended with some ropes. I guess technically it doesn't work from a physics point of view because they would just flop, but you know, if these ropes were solid, maybe they're actually not rope, maybe they're wood or metal and they're just made to look like rope. That's what I'm going with, and yeah, I'm forgiving myself for that. I think it looks nice, so I'm going to allow it basically. Oh, you got a bit of graphical problem there. I'll sort that out. That's probably the same at this end. No, it's not too bad actually. Yeah, that's fine, because these windows are separate pieces to the main building, so I can just slide them in a bit. That's not a problem. And then what I've just done here, just put some steps in here, because when you get raised windows like this, if you've got young toddlers, they can't see in unless their parents lift them up. So you'll often see this sort of thing, a couple of steps so the toddlers can come and stand here and look inside. And obviously at the moment they'll be able to look in and see a camel having some lunch, which is what everyone wants to see, let's be honest. That would brighten up every day of our lives, wouldn't it, if we could see a camel having lunch. Oh look, and now he's playing with a massive food ball. Well, you don't see that every day, do you? Oh, lovely. So there we go. That is what I have done to the building. I quite like that. You know, I wanted to do something to it. It was just a little bit plain. Obviously I put a little bit of ivy on here as well, just to decorate plain areas. I'm not keen on plain areas. I think it works when you're inside the habitat, so like this wall here, you wouldn't do anything to that. But when you're outside, a big plain wall doesn't look nice. It's not attractive. And it's a waste of space as well. So if you can have windows or seating or information boards or something, that's generally what a zoo would do. So there we go, that is that. So this area is basically done. I will probably put a couple of my usual tree planters in here, maybe with some different trees in this time. But other than that, this is all done over here now. So my main bit of the project that is left is just along here. And this isn't going to be anything fancy. This is just going to be some of my usual shrub construction work along here. So it's not going to take me too long, I don't think. It's not going to be anything that you've probably not seen before, but we shall see what I come up with. So that, I think, is going to do it. So let me just go away and get that done, and I'll just come back one more time. Right, welcome back one more time. So I have put a couple of my planters in here. I love these things. They just fill the gaps nicely. They're very easy to edit. Obviously, sometimes people do walk through them a little bit, but you know, that's life. So I've gone with these lovely candelabra trees. These are very desert looking, so I thought they suited the theme quite nicely. And it makes this area, you know, like I've done elsewhere in the zoo, nice and cramped. You know, that's what we're going for in this zoo. As you walk through here, you've got stuff everywhere, which is how I want this zoo to feel. So it's very enclosed. This area here with these massive umbrellas, I love these. I think these are lovely things. So as you walk along here, you've got foliage hanging over your head. You've got these big umbrellas over your head. You've got quite narrow walkways. They're wide enough, but then, you know, they're not huge. No big plazas or anything. You know, and obviously these things continue right the way out until you're in the next area as well. So anyway, the bit that I've worked on is over here. This is our shrubbery. So obviously you have our steps that go up here. And I've gone with all my usuals, you know, nothing too different. Actually, this is different. I've not used these ones before. What's this? So river bush wallow tree. So I've put in some of these along the front here because I wanted a bit of height along the front. And other than that, it's most of my usual shrubs, just arranged carefully and delicately, and you know, making sure the colours are coordinated nicely. And then I've dotted some of these rocks in as well. I wanted a different texture, so I thought these rocks worked really nicely, just filling in these little gaps on the hills here, because you want some earth showing on these shrubberies. You don't want every inch filled with a shrub, because that's just not realistic. But bare earth doesn't look great on its own, so if you just sink some of these rocks in, it just makes the whole thing look so much more real and realistic. Even here, they're just coming out over the pathway a bit, but that's absolutely fine. It just blends it all together. And I love how as you walk up here, the shrubs are really sort of brushing against you at the sides. It makes you really feel enclosed and you know, like you're completely surrounded by nature. I was thinking whether I should be putting a barrier along here, like a fence, but to be honest, it's not like there's a big drop here, so I don't think it's necessary. You could quite happily walk down this slope if you wanted. I mean, you're not going to fall to your death down it, are you? It's not a steep slope. So I decided not to. I didn't want a barrier between the people and the shrubs. So I've left it like it is. So there we go. So that's that. I want a couple more of my big umbrella trees, of course, at the top here, because you know, when you first walk in here, the shrubs were nice, but I just wanted something overhanging again. So it's almost like you are going down this little tunnel of shrubbery and trees, which is nice. Then it kind of opens up and you get a view here. I don't want to block this view because I wanted you to be able to see the habitat in the distance here. Well, not really the distance, but you know what I mean. And obviously I didn't want to block the view down here either, so you got this lovely view down, just, you know, just teasing you a bit. Like you can see the picnic tables there, you can see some greenery, and obviously you've got the site of the umbrellas here, just drawing you in, makes you want to come down here and see what's going on. And obviously you'd get down here and instantly you're right next to the camels. You've got all this lovely shelter here. You know, if it's raining, you'd be dashing down here and trying to grab a seat. And of course you can instantly see through here as well. And on this side, obviously, you've got your crocodiles. So when you're sitting down here having your dinner, you can look this way and see some crocodiles swimming around, or you can look that way and you see some camels, and if you're very lucky you can look behind you and possibly see some anteaters, although they're pretty well hidden back there. Oh, there's one, there you go, so you can see them dashing around in there. So yeah, so this is pretty basic, all this shrubbery, but I like it. I like to think I'm getting quite good at how these are arranged. I think it looks quite real and natural, and I love these new ones that I've put in, mostly because of the colour. Obviously they add height, but I love the colour. The orange colour is really nice, really stands out, especially once you've zoomed out here. You can, you know, they're quite distinctive, as are these umbrellas. I can't get enough of these. I might use these elsewhere. You know, to be honest, I think they make lovely lovely pieces, so I may well reuse that either in this zoo or maybe in a future zoo, who knows. It was a very simple design, but I just think it's worked out very nicely. These things don't always, when you try and make these circular items, they don't always work well, but this particular one I think has. So there we go, that is our camel habitat, and I'm really happy with it. Please let me know if you are, what you think. Let me know if you you like my umbrellas as much as I do. Yeah, it's a simple enclosure, I'm not going to lie. It's not the best enclosure I've ever built, but this enclosure was more about the atmosphere than the habitat itself. And I think with these umbrellas and, you know, the shrubberies that I've done, you know, the little viewing area and the seating area, I really like what I did with these palms in the seats here. So atmosphere wise, I think I've created a nice area of the zoo down here, so I'm very pleased with it. And oh yes, I just forgot to show you the posts. So I did just put in some wooden beams here as a support for this overhanging roof as well. So there we go, that is our camel habitat. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've had fun. I don't know what our next project will be. It's probably going to be over this side of the zoo somewhere, but I honestly don't know. I am making this up as I go along. So there we go. I will hopefully see you in the next one. Take care till then, stay safe, and goodbye for now.